motherhood and you speak about running a business, you know, is the fact that you're running a business and your time is quite flexible. But it doesn't mean that you are working lesser than people that are doing 9 to 5. In fact, at some point, you are working more than people that are doing 9 to 5. You understand? Because I understand that if you are doing 9 to 5, you definitely have someone that can, constantly be in charge of your kids, especially if you have little ones, till you are back from work. But in my own situation, I usually have to go to work with my infant. And I have to juggle between taking care of my infant and working at the same time. So yes, it can be quite strenuous. It can be quite strenuous because at that point you can't focus on one thing for a longer period of time. So you understand? So even if you are doing something now, before you know, in another few minutes, your child is already requesting for attention. So, because I'm going to be talking from my own point of view, I have little kids. So, if it's someone that has older children, it is quite easier. It is quite easier because they have gotten to the point where they are independent. They don't need you to do a lot of things for them again. But when at this point where they depend solely on you, you don't even have any choice, And talking about this balancing, I will be sincere with you. In short, I'm not even sure that I'm not sure that I'm anywhere close. I'm anywhere close to it because when I see women that have kids and they are doing excellently well in their businesses, and in short, the first thing I admire is like the question I have is how are they doing it? Please, I need to find out how they have been doing it. I need to find out how they have been doing it. And truthfully, it's not
like that.
honestly, because when I had my first child, I asked one of my big sisters, how did you do it? Like, how did you do it to be able to manage all of this and still look after it? And she could not even give me a precise answer. She was just like, see, it's just God that has just been helping me. You understand? And before you know it, there's another addition, and it just happens on and on and on like that. So, but the most important thing is planning. Planning. Me, for one person, I am a planner. Let me put it that way. I like to plan a lot. In short, planning works for me a lot. It doesn't mean that I have planned and it will go the way I've planned. Are you getting it? No. It doesn't mean that I have planned and I can put a stamp on it that okay, this is that I planned. But planning helps, it sort of guides me on the things I need to do. You understand? So when, like we say, woman proposes or
proposes.
Okay. So sometimes I would have planned these are the things I need to do for today. Because I just plan, okay, this as a fashion designer, I planned that okay, before 12 o'clock I'm supposed to finish this outfit. Oh, then now got to the point whereby something I was supposed to do for 3 hours, I ended up doing it for 5 or 6 hours. It will take a longer time. But planning also keeps you in check. It also it also guides you through that to know that okay, this thing that I need to do, I'm taking too long on it. You have to devise another means, you understand, to ensure that your job gets done. So one thing for sure is planning. You have to plan. I know, like I said earlier, woman proposes, we have to put everything to God in prayer, so that you not encounter any unforeseen circumstances, you not encounter, this and that. And even along the way, it doesn't mean that you not encounter any hurdle. You encounter hurdle, but you just pray that God should give you the wisdom to navigate through. God should give you the wisdom to navigate through. And at a point, no matter how important your business is, you might be put to the spot of having to choose either attending to your business or attending to your kid at some certain point in time. Because I remember there was a time recently, it started with my younger child. She was, a bit under the weather, and while she was getting out of that, the older one picked up, and the older one lasted for a week plus. It was tough for me to go to work. It was tough for me. I had to coordinate a lot of things, over the phone. And even while coordinating, sometimes you still need your eyes to see some things. So for almost a week, I could not even get to work at all. You understand? So at the point where I was able to get to work, I could barely, maybe I'm just picking up something for somebody. I'm just trying to see that this thing is perfect before they send for delivery, and I'm out already. Because what? I have a priority. Because for me, my kids are my priority. The business
Yeah.
can always, can always wait. And the good thing about it is I also have people, that can run things, that can keep things, that can tie things down for me before I get back. So at that point you just have to, obviously you wouldn't want to leave your child aside and attend to business, because if any, God forbid, anything happen, the business will not mean anything to you at that point in time. So you just have to do you just have to pick your struggle at that point in time. So, and you do whatever it is that you can do from afar. So, you know also, uh uh we need to understand something, because it's something that I myself I struggle with. We need to understand something, that everything is in seasons, especially for a woman. Everything is in seasons. And at a point I started praying to God that God should grant me the grace, to be able to wait on him and trust him. Because sometimes it will look like things are static in your life.
Yeah.
And
Like,
if you're somebody that you are used to things being running, you are used to running things, you are used to, yes, you'll be frustrated. You'll be frustrated and you'll be like, oh, like, it will look like, it will look like you are going
if
to be at that spot forever.
like,
And of which is
you
not
are
there.
it's not that far. Yeah.
It should be like,
Having to cater for your kids is not a static thing. Yeah,
and
you are doing something.
yeah, and if before you start having children, you are independent. Nobody's depending on you. Rather, you can do things at the time you want to do them. But you have gotten to the point whereby you have people depending on you. You have people depending on you. So, so at that point, I just pray for grace. To be able to wait, to be able to go through that waiting season. To go through that waiting season, because truthfully, it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating because you just think of it like you now start calculating, okay, how old will this child be before you can proceed with your life? How old, you
It's
understand?
your life.
How it can be frustrating. But the thing is that getting a helping hand is also a vital thing, because the truth of it is that you cannot run it alone. Your business, you cannot run it alone. Your home, you cannot do it alone. Apart from having a supportive partner, you also need an helping hand. So if you have opportunity to get people that can help you, don't resist. You have opportunity to get people that can, assist you in whichever way. Don't resist. Because I know that initially I was skeptical about all of this, but it got to a point that it looks like I was wearing and tearing away in the process, in this struggle of juggling motherhood and business. And I just have to let go of all my worries and put everything in God's hands. And started trying to employ someone to help me along the line. Even though it's not like I'm not still going to totally leave my kids, you know but at least there is help. There's help. And there's another question. When you tell people how stressed you are, how tired you are, how the first thing they'll ask is that, don't you have help? But the truth is that you have help, but you still cannot give everything totally to the help. You still cannot, because
Yeah. There are some things that you would want to do by yourself.
there's this thing they call motherly instinct. There are some things that before you even look too far, you already noticed it. Why the person that is staying with your child 24/7 did not even see a dime, did not even notice anything. It just happens that way. So you can't totally let it out. You still have to. But the good thing about it is that the stress is lesser. So if the stress is on a 90, if it is on 100, it can drop down to 50. It can drop down to 50, but you still have to, do all of that. So at any point in time, if in short, at this point in time, if I can get up to as many help as possible, I don't mind. But the good thing about it is that as we are getting help, we should also ensure that these are people that you can actually trust, because it's not just about your home, it's not just about your kids, about your home. understand? So that's why we just do what put everything to God's hand. It's not just trusting. You cannot trust human, no. You can only trust God. Because even someone that you have known for years, you understand, might end up just doing something you never imagined that the person will do. So we just put our trust in God and put everything to God's hand. And you know what? We sit down and constantly pray that things should go fine, things should go well. God should reveal things to you on time. God should give you that instinct, to see things on time. God should give you that wisdom, that discerning spirit. Is something I usually pray for, the spirit of discernment. It's something that's not just others, it's something that everybody should pray for, the spirit of discernment to know, when
No people to
yes, part time, to know what to do part time, to know when something is wrong at part time, that spirit of discernment is something that I pray for all the time. So, also talking about, I'm also looking at is talking about, it's difficult to talk about the business of an entity and leave because it's like your whole life in totality. Your whole life in totality, you are trying to balance up your business, you're trying to balance up your home. At some certain point, you are trying to still balance up with your extended families because you had a family before you became a wife and a mom. You understand? You're still trying to balance up that as well. So demands will keep coming here and there, here and there, here and there. So, you know, another thing is that apart from getting help at home, even with the business too, if you are someone that you are working with, or if you are someone that your business has not gotten to the point whereby you can travel for 3 months and not look back, you understand? You have to be constantly present. You have to be constantly present.
present.
And one problem a lot of business owners have currently is employee turnover. A lot of people don't, in short, they are not willing to, how do I put it? They're not willing. I don't know, but it's like when you're trying to take somebody that has the same. If you guys can't have the same vision, but the person should be able to do or see through your eyes. And this person that I think sees through your eyes at some certain points to look at the person's eyes are shut, and you'll be wondering, guy, you've been working for me for years. What's happening around here? How can this happen? And things that will not happen normally when you are there. You understand? But because if you are this person has working for me for years and probably the person has his or her own personal issues and the person just got carried away. The person just switched off at a certain point and and you're coming back to come and resolve problems that has been on ground and all of that. That one is another thing again. So like I said, we just keep praying, keep praying, keep praying that both at home we get, people with the fear of God and even both at the business as well. So, I don't know what. Thank you. I don't know what other aspects would you want me to touch.
Okay. Okay, you've spoken about the fact that it's important to plan ahead.
Yes.
Even though we know that as a man, we can only propose. It's God that still makes everything to happen. But then it's important for us to always plan, make plans. That way, we are guided, in what we are doing. And that's very key. That's very important. I got that. You also mentioned the fact that we need to delegate, so to say,
Yes.
having people to do something for you so that the stress becomes less that way. And also, having a supportive partner is also very important, running the home. And I think maybe it may also be important to talk about how you're able to say no to certain things in order for you to focus on your priority, which is your child now. Do you understand? Your kids, like maybe sometimes you may not even attend some parties, so to say. Maybe you may not attend a particular hangout. Do you understand? Because
Yes.
you
Yes.
need to be there
Yes.
for your children, or maybe because you
Yes.
need
You
to
know.
just need that time to rest.
Sorry.
Some, uh,
Let me interrupt you. Some people think that, especially when you get married and start having kids, then you have some friends that are not married yet. Sometimes they
yeah,
tend to think that you are now feeling too big. They
Wow,
feel like,
withdrawn.
but they don't understand. Most people
The
don't
demand.
understand until they get there. You understand? They don't understand that demand is now is it's gone are the days when it was just me and my friends. The demand is now higher. You know, the tree is now bigger, and they tend to think that, oh, this person is married now, this person has kids now. She thinks that she's no longer in her league, but they don't know that these kids are demanding. In short, they are demanding.
Demand.
In short, it takes conscious effort for a woman not to forget herself in the process of looking after her children. You
Taking,
understand? And that is a kind of awareness that, you know, that is that we are putting out now. You know, trying to get hold of yourself, even while you are putting things, getting things done, while you are knocking things down at home, trying to make sure that your life is not at a total stop. You know, even if you are moving, even if the pace is slow, it should be slow for a while, but after some time it will pick up. You understand? But ensure that you know you keep working on yourself. Ensure that you keep, you know, gaining more knowledge. Ensure that that path you have chosen to go as a business owner, you don't totally leave it out. You know, even if you have decided to be a full-time mom, you know, there are some things that you have passion in
and
that you can, you know, just get yourself
do
engaged
from
with
home.
online. You understand? We have a couple of motivational speakers, we have a couple of counselors, we have a couple of, you know, that they don't have to leave their home. Some people have their offices in their home. You understand? But as long as they are looking after, you know, catering for this, you know, responsibilities, they are also the ones working on themselves, working on themselves. And when you talk about letting things go is something that, in fact, you don't have a choice because you be stressed out, because you just realize that the person that they will just call you pal are there. You just, by the time you realize how, in short, by the time they don't even, you know, your body will tell you. Your body will tell you
I
because
perfectly understand.
you have stayed, you know, taking care of the kids, taking care of your room, and the little time you have to, in short, do you even have time to rest? Look like you have to rest. If the party is not important, you will
God.
not, for me, you will not see me there. Even though I'm a fashion designer, even though I can show up and show out, if the party is not like important, like you are not my person, you understand? You will not see me
Mm,
there. You understand? There was a
yeah.
client of mine that I made outfit for. She wanted to do a christening for her child. So I
Child.
made her for her. She was expecting that I would be at the party. Truthfully,
Come on,
I
baby.
wanted to. Truthfully, I wanted to.
But
But the demand came up to attend to one of my kids. I had to, in short, I had to leave work at that point in time. Try to find a way to go to her school, you know, and all of that. And you know, after the whole thing, I had to come and tell her that I'm sorry, that I actually wish to come. You understand? But I could not come. Something came up and all of that. Well, that's somebody that probably understands. But some persons will not understand. They will not understand. So these things are things that they don't even need. And you know when you're saying no, in short, as a business owner, for someone like me, there are some certain jobs, till date, there are some certain jobs that I'll tell you no. You understand? Until
no.
I'll tell you, you cannot do this job. I'll tell you, oh, the time frame is short or something. Because I know that this, when
Taking
this
it
job
and then
comes
you
in,
now perform them.
when this job comes in, it means that I literally have to leave everything and attend to the job, which is not possible. I cannot leave everything and attend to the job. And it's something I have to strike a balance. I have to strike a balance. Especially for some people, for people in my line of profession, you always see people that will come and say, "Oh, this I need this thing. I need this today is Sunday. I need it on Tuesday." How do you want me to perform the magic? You know, something like that came up on Sunday. I remember on Sunday, someone spoke to me and said like, "Oh, this so I need it on Tuesday." And they have not even gotten the fabric yet. So they say, okay, they said, this actually have the fabric on one. I said, it's not possible. You understand? The truth
There's
of
no
it is that
how good
the offer is juicy. You understand? It's a job
it
that
is,
is
but
bringing a lot of money for me. But I was tempted to take it. But I just told myself
mm,
that it means that I have to lock down the whole day and make sure that that job is complete and
mm,
leave Lagos by Tuesday morning, which is not possible. You know, which is not possible.
possible.
I told her, in short, I started begging her that, sorry, because obviously this
Mm,
person is not a new client, but the person she's bringing in to me, is a new client. She referred me to somebody. So I now have to explain. I said I got to say to the person that this thing, no, it cannot happen. No matter how high, because I can say, okay, I'm charging you for urgent work. You understand? At the same time, too, I'm scared that something might come up that I have to leave the job for and disappoint, which I don't want to happen. So I always give, enough gap, so that should in case, just leave gap for to attend
Mm.
to yourself, your personal life, to attend to your family, attend to and all that. So in short, saying no is
I
something that
think
will keep coming. You have to,
mm,
you know that this thing, I just have to say no, except you want to break. And you know what it means when you break in
mm,
the midst of all of this hustle and bustle. So
said some very important points. And the one that we really like to talk about now is the fact that, you said something about trying to, it's important not to lose oneself at that stage, because I now remember someone once shared with me, you know, how that even led her to depression because she lost herself. She wasn't doing any other thing. So she wakes up in the morning, take care of her family, the kids, but she's not doing any other thing. There is just this, I don't know if you can relate, there is just this sense of fulfillment that comes with knowing that, okay, my life doesn't just revolve around, taking care of the home. Like,
yeah,
that sense of fulfillment is very important.
yes,
And that now even led her to depression. So she now said that she was always tired, she lost herself and all of that. And she now discovered that nothing was wrong with her. It wasn't like she had any major issue. She just found out that by the time she now started that she loved, peace of it that she was able to do the things that she's passionate about. And then the depression just disappeared. So I think it's very important we know that point. Understanding that we can still manage it all together. Some people will say, you can't do it all together. But I really believe that if we want to, we can. There are some jobs, like mentioned, that may not even require you to leave the house, just to have that sense of fulfillment that you are not just, taking care of people. I think you are the one that posted something about that. That even the children, when they get to a certain stage, I think I've seen you post something like that. That they might
yes,
even ask
yes.
you first. Yes,
They will
I
ask you
think
that
you
who
are
sent
really
you. Yes,
who sent it.
because
I think you have
yes,
posted something like that.
yes, because they truly do not understand. They truly do not understand the
Understand
sacrifice that you are
why
making for them. You understand?
you
In
have
short, and when they make that statement of who sent you, it will take them for them to get to the point where you have to understand that nobody has to send you before you do it. You get it?
thank
This
you.
thing that you said, I was having a conversation with Keaton. I don't know, you should not Keaton Clothia. I was having a conversation with her some few weeks back, and I was telling her about the things that are on ground for me because we are in the same line of business. You understand? So sometimes we just talk and rub minds and all that. I was trying to tell her the things that are on ground for me and the things that I'm planning to do ahead. And sometimes somehow it looks like our plans are almost the same. You understand? And
This,
and we're just talking about because she also has a baby, and we're talking about our struggles. In short, I will not lie to you. It wasn't a long conversation, but it was somewhat relieving for me. It was somewhat easy for me. The fact that we also even run the same line of business.
someone that can relate
And we're saying that
with your story.
and we're saying that if you don't try to juggle through all of this, as a woman, like I said, as a
Mm,
woman, we all have to understand that everything is a season. Before you know it, your boss will no longer take you to do a
yeah,
lot of these things that you are doing. Understand? To
doing
think that some people already said, some people you shot after giving birth, their level of strength depreciates. And
depreciate.
you know, you just have to, and with the way these trends are, you understand. Before when people realize that you are in an older generation, as an older generation, it's usually very difficult to target the younger
This
generation. You
uh,
understand? And when your target clients are usually the younger generation, it's going to be difficult because what you are an older generation. So it looks like this is your prime. like you're at your prime currently. So just do
Right.
everything you can do. Before you start clocking 40, before you start clocking 40 something, you know, at that point,
That point.
somebody as
It's very
someone as a fashion designer, you don't
important.
expect me to be doing as much as I'm doing currently when I'm 45. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's something that you have to just do all of that when you have the strength to do it now. So that by the time you no longer have the strength to do it, you will know that yes, I've done something for myself. I've achieved something on my own. You understand?
I really like that. You know, one thing I admire about you is the fact that you just like I think you mentioned something like that. Maybe that was even one of your first points. Talking about the fact that don't see your business as okay. You might even think, oh, after all, it's my business. I'm the one in charge. I can just do what I like. Okay, so today I may even not do anything today. Of course, that's fine. It's okay to take out some time to rest and all of that, or probably even focus on other things that you have. But you know, you know sometimes you might even have to put in some extra effort more than something that has done time to time. It's something I really like about you. And sometimes I think you mentioned something like that. You say, what if I'm in the office and I'm doing nothing? I think I've had to say things like that before. And I really admire that. You know, that shows that you really take your, and sincerely, I really like that. You know, the fact that you're not just saying, okay, I can just do what I want, even though I know that for them, just like you said, time is going, and it's very important to always put in, go in with that. And I really
Yes.
appreciate that. Well, well done.
Thank you, ma.
Well done. I really thank you so much. I really admire you, and I pray that the Lord will continue to bless you and bless your business in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Please
Amen.
follow Dustin Fashions. She has come from you. Fine clothes. Please, if you are not following her, please do so. Do
Thank
so.
you very much. Thank you
Well
very
done.
much. I appreciate you. And you are doing a good job. In short, I was telling, who was I talking to? I was telling Anne, I was saying, I don't know, but your level of determination, your level of your tenacity